Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Athletes Club. My name's Matt, and I'm joined here today with.
Kam Hankerson from the Long Island Nets.
So, you guys played a game yesterday up here in Maine. Guys won in overtime. How you feeling about the game?
Crazy game, man. Honestly, um, it was just a lot of back and forth. I think that it just came down to which team was gonna continue to play their style of basketball. Like we didn't shy away from that, even with the calls going the way they did down the stretch.
Yeah, no, that was my first G League game. Especially going into watching the G League atmosphere, I thought that the Red Claws had like a really strong showing fan base. They had the crowd jumping. You guys came out hot, and then got the lead to about 20, and then they started calling back, but y'all persevered in the end. So,
Yeah.
congrats on y'all win. Um, so you've spent some time obviously playing in college before you ended up with the Nets and overseas. With players like LaMelo Ball and RJ Hampton forfeiting college to play overseas, do you think it's better for players now with the freedom to go overseas or to stick with college with the experience of you playing in college?
Um, Honestly, I'd say it's a case by case basis. I feel like everybody understands like the level of basketball that they're playing at, and just how they see the game. Like sometimes those things really are contributing factors on whether like, all right, like I could go to the G League or I can go overseas and make my money early and still be able to showcase like that I'm prepared to take that next step to go to the NBA
Hmm.
or to get a better contract overseas, honestly. But I mean, there are also those people who need that development and who don't really know who they are, and those are the people who really need to go to college. Like you can go to college and in 2 to 3 years you can still end up getting drafted, but you still have a backup plan on top of that.
Right. So with you coming out of college and playing 4 years at Green Bay, how did it benefit you, or how did it not benefit you spending those 4 years of college as a player?
Honestly, honestly, like it did benefit me a lot. Like it benefited me a lot. Like the thing you don't realize about college is like it's not just about playing basketball. Like you
Hmm.
go there and like I would say like college basketball becomes more of a job because you have so many things to juggle.
Yep.
Um, but like you learn a lot about yourself in college because I mean it's just another step in learning more about yourself, having more freedom, but also like figuring out what your work ethic is like on your own.
Right.
Like you have a lot of stuff that your coaches kind of provide for you, but like how much extra time are you going to be willing to spend in the gym? Like how much more dedicated are you going to become by yourself when nobody else is watching? Like those late nights, those early mornings when you get up and work out or you do some conditioning on your own, like those things, they add up over time, and like it gave me a different perspective on just playing basketball. Honestly,
Was college home? Was it close for you being at Green Bay?
it was about 8 hours drive.
8 hours drive. So you had that experience of kind of being on your own
Yeah,
and kind of
yeah,
foreshadowing what was to come of
yeah,
having to know what to do on your own.
yeah.
So with NAL now being available, now that you've left college, um, looking back on choosing Green Bay, if you would have had like a chance to get paid to go to different schools, would that have changed how you would have done your recruitment process?
Oh, for sure. Um, because like I'm not 100% sure on this, but if NIL goes across all platforms, including like Division 2,
Hmm.
you could go to a high level Division 2 and end up getting paid more than you would if you went to a mid major
Right.
Division 1, or if you went sometimes even high major Division 1, because they really want you there for one, and they're willing to do whatever to get you. Um, and then on top of that, like I think it I think it would have changed the landscape, even if I would have had at least 2 years with it.
Yeah.
Like being at Green Bay, I probably could have saved a lot more money than what I was spending, either through food, gas, like possibly getting my own car while I was up there,
Right.
through one of the many dealerships that were up there. Like there was
Hmm.
just so many opportunities in Green Bay just because it was such a small market
Yeah.
that I could have easily found my way into some money like one way or another.
Yeah. That definitely could have helped you. So what would your advice be for the kids that are in positions right now, like maybe choosing the schools between what you're saying, like a mid-major D1 or going to a higher level D2 school?
Um, with the way NILs are set up now, I would definitely say do your work early to get your own independent NILs together, and then from there see honestly see what see how it coincides with what you have going on already. And really just like what they're willing to offer you, because at the end of the day, it's a platform, and they're going to use you. They're going to use you to get more people to come to the school. They're going to use you to get more recruits to come to the school. Like they're going to use you one way or another. So you have to be able to do the same. Like you have to be able to create a spectacle for yourself on that level, whichever level you want to play at, to to kind of think ahead and not just think just about now. That's honestly all I could tell you.
No, that's some good advice to set yourself up for
Yeah,
possibly being on basketball.
you just never know. You just never know how long you'll be able to play. Like you
Yeah.
got guys in college now or you got guys who went to college, played what maybe a year or two in the NBA, or went overseas and was like, yeah, I'm done. Like
And that's no
those,
knock to them. Sometimes it's just not
it's
for
just a
you.
grind. Yeah, it's just a grind of playing basketball. Sometimes like you just get tired, or you're like, if I have to play basketball this way, I'm not willing to settle because I just understand who I am.
Right. To kind of go off of what you said for that last part, I mean, mental health has definitely been something that's been talked about more and more awareness to it. So, has mental health at any point for you during playing basketball, has it been a challenge for you?
Yeah, and I think every basketball player, if they have a high expectation for themselves, kind of hits a wall where um, the work that's being put in isn't always coming to fruition in the way that you want it to. Because I mean, I feel like every basketball player chases perfection in one way or another,
Right.
and so like when you hit that wall, kind of trusting the process, as cliche as it is, sometimes it really helps you, like not allowing yourself to kind of fall short or feel like none of the work that I'm doing is showing, so I'm gonna stop putting the work in. Like if you hit that point and you stop putting the work in, you're proving yourself right more than you are proving yourself wrong.
Hmm.
And like I think probably my junior year of college, like I hit that point and like it was really tough to kind of dig myself out of that hole. Honestly, like it almost took me it took me a couple of it like it took me a couple of months to kind of get myself back into rhythm, or just back from back out of that hole. And sometimes it still was lingering, but like once I finished the year up and kind of looked back at it, it was like, all right, like the year wasn't so bad. It wasn't as bad as I made it seem.
Right.
And so like going into the next year, like my confidence was through the roof.
Yeah. So now that you got through it and kind of saw the light at the end of the tunnel, it made things easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what did you use during those times, maybe before or after, to help you either get through it or afterwards to kind of overcome it to not put yourself back in that situation?
Um Honestly, once I got past it, I think the biggest thing for me was to kind of take some time to really go through like why I had such a difficult time with that, for one, and then for two, to kind of lean on my family, or lean on people who like really were gonna help me get better.
Hmm.
For one, and then for two, it was just kind of staying committed to what I wanted to see for myself,
Right.
um, and just how much success I felt like I could have just given the right situation.
So, for you, do you think you're more someone who, like what you're saying, leaning on your family and stuff? Do you more of a person to reach out to get through it, or are you someone that would like kind of isolate yourself and figure it out on your own?
Um, I did a little bit of both. Like I think when I was going through it, like I was more so kind of like like I'm gonna figure out a way to get through this. But once I hit a point where I was like, okay, like this isn't getting any better, and it's not helping me get to where I want to.
Right.
Like I need help. So at
So,
that point, like I had to speak up and say something, because like it was apparent to other people, but they didn't know really what was wrong with me.
right.
And so like once I finally reached out and I realized like there are people out there who are willing to help me,
Hmm.
like it just made things easier for me to kind of help myself too.
Right. So you have the awareness to say, like, I need to just stop doing what I'm doing. It's not helping, and
Yeah,
reach out.
honestly.
That's that takes some awareness. So coming out of college, it was the time. It was during COVID when you came out of college. You was looking to play professional
Hmm.
basketball, obviously. So during that time, how did you navigate seeking out playing professionally? Because I mean, COVID was something no one's ever experienced. So everyone was kind of trying to learn the in and outs. So how did you navigate that?
Yeah, honestly, like I feel like a lot of people look at COVID as like something that was a real negative for them, but like I don't know, for me, like it was great. Like I got to spend some time at home. It
Hmm.
gave me time to make an informed decision on who I wanted to go with as an agent. Um, because like agencies were calling me and like I had reached out to a couple agencies because I was originally thinking about going with an agency that Alfonso McKinney had went with, who went to Green Bay, had an okay career, like
Yep.
wasn't really given a surefire opportunity, but was a crazy athlete from what everybody had told me.
Right.
Um, and like they kind of sent him on his way to just kind of put him on the right path to like
Right.
keep going like step by step to make it to where he was at and where
Hmm.
he is now. And so like we had contacted them and like I had a couple agents hit me up on IG, and through email and text and stuff like that. And so like it just gave me a lot of time to like really be diligent, like search every one of them up, figure out who I wanted to go with, who had the most connections, who was like really willing to kind of take a chance and market me in the way I wanted to be marketed,
Hmm.
not just in the way that like would get me the most offers or the most money, starting out. And so like it was really a blessing to kind of go through that road, take my time, kind of work on my craft still through that all that, and then like go with an agency that really was I felt like was the right fit for me at that time.
Right.
And so after that, I ended up in Germany. I think that late August, early September, after I had picked the agent, and it was probably like a 3 month process between picking an agent and going overseas for the
Wow.
first year.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah.
So now that you can look back, did you know if there was an alternative if playing professionally didn't work out?
Honestly, I didn't. I knew I could play overseas. Um, I knew that that was a possibility. It was just a matter of if playing overseas was going to be like feasible. Like I knew it was going to be a lot, and it was going to be like a fairly stressful situation. Like not having gone overseas before, and so like there wasn't really a backup option. Honestly, like it was like one of those moments where it's like, all right, I'm putting all my chips on black
Yeah.
and just hoping for the best.
Yeah. So did you have offers from countries going to play, or was it you seeking them out and being like, "Hey, I'm looking to come play
Um,
for y'all"?
honestly, my agent came to me with a few offers like early on because
Hmm.
I did like I said I hadn't gone overseas before, so I didn't have my passport,
Yep.
and so like I had an offer probably like maybe 2.5 weeks after to go to Hungary, and so like me not having my passport was a huge deal, and they were like we can't take him, like we like him,
Yeah.
but we just can't take him. So I was like like that's a missed opportunity. It would have been probably good to go to Hungary for the first year. Um, but it was I don't know. It was a weird process, but like it was good for me to take my time. Like
Yeah.
being too rushed into things would have probably left me with less information and more to look back at or to reflect on after that first year.
Yeah. If there's one thing COVID gave us, it was a lot of time.
Oh,
A lot of
absolutely.
time. So going overseas, how did to speak more on COVID? How did other countries treat COVID? Like, was it more of what we're doing here, or did they have different
Um,
rules?
well, going to Germany, Germany's a lot like Germany's Americanized, but they're still one of those countries who like they follow what the government says. And so when it came down to wearing masks or when things are shut down, like things are shut down, like
Whatever said goes.
yeah, we had like after I think right before Christmas and going into Christmas break and New Year's, like we had a curfew at like 8 p.m. From 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. you could not be outside. If you were outside, like if the police caught you outside, it was like $1,000 fine.
Wow. I remember we tried to, or at least I'm on the East Coast, tried to instate like a martial's law type thing.
Because it was bad
And
over here.
yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. And in Germany, it wasn't terrible, but it was like,
It's still COVID, so it's gonna
yeah.
get around.
Prior to that, like things were okay. Like as long as you had a mask on, you were pretty much allowed to go anywhere. Like shopping districts were still
Did
open.
they have the 6 foot, 6 feet rule?
Yeah, they did. And they weren't allowing a lot of people into the store. So it was like they would only allow a
Mm,
certain amount of people into the store unless it was like a grocery store. But even
yeah,
then, it was like
the capacity
everybody,
thing.
yeah, everybody maintained distance and was kind of just there like for them. It
Hmm.
wasn't one of those like you go to the store and you're like constantly in conversation. Like you're there to get groceries and then you're going home.
Yeah. So also spent time overseas in Germany and in Portugal. What was your overseas style like, or what was the style like over there?
From a basketball standpoint,
Yeah,
yeah.
or even just like lifestyle day to day.
Lifestyle was like there were drastic differences in lifestyle between Germany and Portugal for sure. Um, like in Germany, I was in a small town,
Hmm.
southern part of Germany, um, like basically almost in the mountains, and so like it was nice. The air was clean. Like Germany, like I would definitely say that Germany is probably one of the cleaner countries from my perspective.
Yep.
Um, and it was just I had my fun there. Like we went shopping, we did a lot of things. Like I drove on the autobahn. I think I did. This is me telling myself, but like I think I did like 120, 130. So I was doing like close to
Hypothetically,
yeah, I was doing like close to
hypothetically,
105 on the highway.
hypothetically, yeah.
Hypothetically, I was doing like close to 105 on the highway. And then yeah, like it was just a lot of like hot like natural natural beauty like in Germany. And then in Portugal, there was natural beauty, but like it was just in a different it was just in a different like in a different way. Like so I was living 2 minutes walking away from a beach. Like the sunset
Wow,
every day
that's
was
nice.
amazing. Like it didn't snow
Oh, that's
while
a
I was in
plus. That's a
Portugal.
plus.
Like it got cold, but it didn't snow. And then like the closest city was like a major city, so like it was really
So you
nice.
really had everything right
Yeah,
around
just
you.
about,
Wow.
just about.
Did you have any culture shocks being in any of those countries, where it's like, oh, that's
Okay,
how they do things
okay,
here, or
okay. Biggest culture shocks. Number one, like number one hit me like once I took my first overseas flight
mhm.
and I got to the Paris airport. Like English, you don't realize how privileged we are in America to kind of just constantly hear one language constantly
Mhm.
until like you get overseas and like it's like three or four different languages over the loudspeaker.
Oh yeah.
Like French is the first language, so you're like like I don't speak
Yeah, you
French,
don't.
so like you're like and then like oh okay, like you're supposed to go this way, take a right, and then you're
Yeah.
there. Like and like you realize just how kind of yeah, just how privileged we are just to like constantly know the same language, not have to really change for anybody else.
Mhm.
Um, and then two was like just how willing people are to follow like government rules overseas. Like there's not too much pushback. Like there is pushback, but it's not in the way in which you would see it in the States. Like it's small, and in most cases it's like the little things. Like they're not like, no, I just don't want to follow this rule whatsoever. They're just like, all right, this rule is okay, but like there's some things we need to change with this.
Right. Was it expensive all overseas?
Honestly, not really. In Portugal, it was really like feasible to live like with what they gave me in terms of money, and then like I lived pretty good in Portugal. In Germany, it was a little more expensive, but like that was just due to like the the price of living or the cost of living there is just it's just different.
Yeah. So it's going to be.
It's just different.
So how much different was the game of basketball in these countries compared to what you were playing with in college? Like, was the style different any?
Yeah, it's like overseas basketball. I'll say this is more half court based. Like you'll get transition plays, like if you get a steal or that, like
Like naturally.
yeah, if you get a steal or somebody turns the ball over, but like it's more half court based. Like you run through a lot of sets, and like everybody, like in most cases, everybody's gonna touch the ball. Like you may be the main scoring threat, but
Hmm.
like the ball's gonna swing, you're probably gonna set a screen, or you're gonna get a screen to get open, and then from there you're able to work. Like here, you may come down and we may put up a shot within the first like 5 seconds of the offense. Like you may not touch the ball, and we're gonna shoot a lot more
Right.
than what you would. Like you're gonna use a full 24-second shot clock almost when you're overseas.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's definitely different because yesterday too was more of like what you're saying, like the
Yeah,
transition, come
we come
down,
down like we might shoot.
couple swings, pick
Yeah,
and roll.
we might not even pass the ball. Like I think I think we came down a couple of possessions, like come down maybe one pass, dribble shot, like
Yeah.
off the rip from three.
Yeah.
And if somebody's down there, they may get the rebound. But if not, like we're already running back
Would you
up.
get benched overseas for taking those type of shots?
No, honestly, in most cases, like if I was shooting it like that, I knew I was either completely wide open or I was gonna make it. Like
Yeah. Or you had a heat check.
yeah,
So now that you ended up playing with the Nets G League team, how did you end up where you are now from playing overseas?
honestly, like it was honestly like a part of like a 2 year plan. Honestly, we hit I hit Germany and I was like, okay, like I'm pretty good. Like I can, if I really want to, I probably shouldn't be playing Pro A,
Hmm.
but I'm here and it's my first year overseas. So like I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna finish up my contract,
Right.
um, and then from there, like see see where things are at. Like see where the lay of the land is. Because we like coming out of Germany, going into that summer right after COVID ish. Like it was still a lot of precautions and stuff like that. Going into that, like I went to summer league, um, because I think teams were pretty much already set for summer league prior to then.
Right.
Um, and so just trying to figure out the landscape of what basketball is like professionally over here, because I had taken a step to kind of understanding what what life was like overseas, what I had to be prepared for, um, and just how I had to move overseas compared to what I should be expecting here. Um, and so like I came back, I realized I was really good, and people were telling me like why is he not on the summer league team? Who was his agent, like and stuff
Right.
like that. And so I was like, all right, like I might be a little bit better than I expected coming out of college because I played with guys who were getting 20. Like I wasn't getting 20 consistently in college, which made me think like I'm just okay. Like
Right.
I'm just gonna be one of those players who plays college, plays professionally for maybe a couple of years, and then I'm gonna be done. But
Yeah.
like, cause I played with Sandy Cohen, who played summer league for Cleveland after he graduated, and now he's making money overseas
Yep.
in Israel. He was playing with a EuroLeague team fresh out. And then I played with Jaquan McLeod, who was another phenomenal scorer, really, really great from three. Uh, and I can't tell you where he's playing right now overseas, but he should be. He's that good.
Yeah.
Um, and so after that, like once I figured out how good I really was, just from a shooting defensively, like I was like, all right, like I think I want to test my talents in the G League or just any way possible to kind of see if I can really make money playing basketball back home. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense not to. And it's always better to just play in the States. Like that's just how it
Always good to
goes.
be home.
That's always good to
Always
be
good to be
home.
home.
Always good to be home.
So what is the G League experience been for you guys? You're about 3/4 of the way through the season now. You guys are doing really well. Best team in the G League. So how's it been like whole season for you?
Um, honestly, like it's it's had its ups and downs, but I think that as someone who like has a perspective of just really understanding where I came from, like all in all, it's been pretty good to me. Like I've had success here. I've tested the waters. I know what it's like to play in the G League now, and I know what that comes with.
Hmm.
And it's something that most people don't get an opportunity to do
Right.
because the pool is so small already.
Yeah.
Um, it's
Right.
just it's really a blessing.
Yeah. So you've obviously had to make like business decisions for your career. What was the moment that you were introduced to the business of basketball and learning about that other side of what comes with it?
Business of basketball. Like I was kind of introduced my first year in Germany, like just through stories and just how people talked about like players and stuff like that. But like my second year in Portugal, we we had a like a 6 game skid where we lost 6 games straight. And then we were trending back upwards. Like once we figured out what was going on and we got everybody back healthy. And after our third win, I think we won by like 15. We traded our big man who was like a footer. Wasn't really like a big post presence, but like
Yep.
was was help in the paint in terms of
Yeah.
defense, and then was a lob threat on the offensive end. And so we traded him like in January with like a month left of the regular season
Wow.
for another player who had played in the league, was more of a post threat, and like was it like he was a solid player. Like I can't say I don't see why, but it was like we were on our way to making a playoff
Yeah.
push, and
It
then
changes the dynamics too.
yeah, we I think we lost our next game after that when he got there, and like that was a crucial game that we needed to win
Yep.
to like put ourselves above a team. And we ended up losing that game and not making the playoffs.
Wow. Is there a trade deadline overseas like there is for the NBA and stuff?
Yes and no. Like I couldn't remember. There was a trade deadline for like players to go in between teams.
Yep.
Like after that, I think there wasn't really a trade deadline for new players coming in and players getting traded overall.
Yeah, because I know I'm not sure if it works for every country, but you can sign someone at like any point, even through playoffs, and like if you're in the
Literally,
finals championship.
because my when we played in Portugal, or when I played in Portugal, we played Benfica and Sporting, and those two teams before like for like basically seeding for the playoffs, because we did some type of extra play. So we played like another 4 games after that, or another like 4 to 6 games between the top 3 to 4, the second four and third four, for like seeding for playoffs, and just to see like whose record was going to come out better. And so during that time, like Sporting, all the top 4 teams were still signing players to like make a playoff run.
That's crazy. You can
And so
still
like we're
change your
in
team.
yeah we're in like March. We're in March with like maybe a month, 2 months left of the season, and
Yeah,
they were still signing players. Like I was like,
that,
okay,
that
like
changes things because it's
yeah,
just that's typically what you would think where you would start to solidify things and be like, all right, this is lineup we're going forward, or start to rest guys or whatever. But to keep changing and trying to create that changes things a lot.
yeah.
Um, so now that we've kind of talked about the business side, how do you handle that now that you know it going forward, like with contracts? How would you evaluate, like if you had two decisions in front of you to go to two different teams or whatever, like what are you looking for? What are you seeing?
Uh, I'm looking at, if I'm going overseas, I'm thinking I'm thinking how do I have success? One, do we have a team that is going to be successful overall?
Hmm.
Or is it one of those teams that's like more so developmental, just wants to stay in the league? Because those are huge factors. If you want to go to a team that wants to win, um, well, first of all, there's going to be a lot of pressure that comes with that,
Yeah.
and you may not always have the pieces to win or to play like a good style of basketball every night. Like there's always going to be a weakness um, going overseas with like some of your players, like local players. And so like figuring out if it's a veteran team with players like who know their role and just are there to kind of help have success, and the team that's still trying to figure it out and is like really developing a lot of players. And so like when you go overseas, like that has to be a factor. That has to be a factor. Lifestyle has to be a factor. So that goes into like city, where you're gonna stay, um, possibly how much money you're gonna make.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
big factor.
and like, if you're gonna get a car, are you gonna have to share a car? Um,
Wait, share a
or if you,
car.
yeah, you might have to share a car. Like, it might be you and your teammate living together for one. Like, you might
Like
have a,
roommates or two
yeah,
different rooms?
you might have two different rooms, but like, it's a 2 bedroom apartment. So you might
Yep.
be in a 2 bedroom apartment with a roommate, and y'all get a car together, or you get a roommate. Like, you get a room, you get a single bedroom by yourself with a car,
Okay.
or like, they may even put you up in a hotel. Like, it just depends on the situation.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Wow.
so when you think about that, you think about, yeah, cost of living, like what surrounding cities are like nearby. Like, you look at all of that, and then lastly, like, what's the reputation of the organization? Are they somebody who, like, if you're not performing for maybe 1 or 2 games, or something's wrong with your family, like, are they going to treat you right?
Yeah. The human side of it.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's still a business, no matter where you go.
Right.
So like, if you're not performing, they can either make your life living hell, or they can cut you. Like,
Yeah. You'd be gone.
and those are huge factors. So you want to go somewhere where, like, you believe, and people, like, they have the reputation for actually taking care of their players.
That you would have a safe, not to say the safety net to play bad, but a safety net if,
Yeah,
you have a
yeah. If
chance
you
to
have a
still.
problem, or it's like, I mean, because life overseas is just so much different. Like, you're in most cases, unless you're bringing your family, or your family's allowed to come with you, you're there by yourself. Like, you're there by yourself, and like, you have guys that you don't really know, but like, you become bonded with just through the fact that, like, y'all are there together. Like, there's nobody else there with you.
Yeah, there's no one else running those suicides or.
Yeah, there's nobody else there with you, and like, you can talk and like conversate with the guys on other teams. Like, and sometimes, like, you may run into people that you played before in college, or like you've played before overseas, or
Right.
like, you may have even played with, like, in
Yeah.
college. Like, that happened to me in Portugal. Like, I played college ball with one of the guys I ended up playing overseas.
That's funny.
And so, like, you hang out with them,
Yeah.
but I mean, in most cases, sometimes it's tough to kind of build a bond with guys that, like, they're so used to turnover. Like, they're so used to, you'll be here for a year. There's gonna be somebody new. Like, I don't care if I like you or not.
Yeah, they're
You're
not.
just here for this year, so
Yeah.
we can get along.
Wow. That's a crazy. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
That things can. I mean, for the guys that are there, and even for you, that life can change so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're talking about things you're getting paid for that can affect your job, affect your career,
Literally.
and change the trajectory of for the better or worse. That's something to think about. So after your basketball days, there's obviously, sadly, life after sports. Have you ever thought about life after basketball?
Uh, a little bit. Um, in all honesty, like, I've already kind of set goals, and been researching stuff in terms of real estate, and just kind of finding ways of making income now, so that way, if I don't want to work after I've made all my money
Hmm.
in this sport, I really don't have to. Like, I can go start a nonprofit, or I can do something that I really want to do,
Right.
that still inspires me, but just isn't basketball.
Hmm.
Um, and so, like, just finding ways to make money off the money you're making already. Like, those are huge things that I'm already looking into, and like, me and my family have already kind of discussed. Just going forward, so that way, like, I don't have to rush to find anything. Like, I can take my time to kind of get back into the flow of not playing basketball, and just find something else that I really enjoy doing.
Yeah. Do you think you want to still be involved in basketball even when you hang your shoes up in any way, like coaching, working someone out,
Ah,
anything like that?
honestly, like, people constantly tell me they could see me being a coach, but like, I don't think I have the patience for it, and I don't have the patience to deal with the egos. Like, I have
Right.
I have the patience to deal with people who come from different backgrounds,
Hmm.
but like, the egos and like the flaring tempers, I don't do that well, and I
Yeah.
and I don't do like the not listening. Like, those are things I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, like,
Which are all
I
things you need
can't do
to.
that. I can't do that. But like, training kids, or like, yeah, training kids, or like doing film study with kids, like that. That's probably something I could do, because I mean, it gives kids inspiration
Hmm.
in terms of like creativity. Like, it doesn't. it doesn't stifle them, um, or just build bad habits. It it actually helps them kind of have more fun with the game.
Yeah, no, even to pick up on the knowledge of the little things within the game of, maybe we'll have a film session. Now they can see what you showed them and then carry that on and
Literally,
do
or
it themselves.
maybe even just film study of like players that like they really like, or people that um, they could possibly be like either overseas or in the league. Like that creates a level of inspiration I don't think many people really
Yeah,
understand.
no, I wouldn't have thought done that. Um, what are some of the interests that you have outside of basketball for like passion wise, something that you like doing?
Ooh. Okay, so I mean, I used to be a huge avid gamer. I gave it up. I think I gave it up like right before I went overseas to
Hmm,
Germany. So I haven't played a video game. Um, and I don't have a console. I haven't had a console for like the last 3 years.
that's
So I've been
crazy.
debating on getting a new one,
That's crazy.
but I'm still going back and forth just because it's one of those things like you spend a lot of money on
You
over time. It's just like
spend a
I
lot of
don't know if I
yeah,
want to do that. So
definitely
like
spend a lot of time.
uh, my hobbies lately have been like a little more constructive. So like I'll do research on the stock market now.
Hmm.
Um, I'm into fashion, so like it's another money pit, but like I'm a little into fashion,
That might be a bigger money pit than the video games.
just almost just about at this point. And then like I've become like more of an avid reader, um, and like I do meditation, yoga, stuff like that. Like hobbies that help me now and may help me later.
What are some of the books that you've read that you've liked?
Um, so I've read the Four Agreements. I just read The Alchemist. That was pretty good. Short reads. I've read. Oh, Uh, I'm reading the 48 Laws of Power.
I've
So
seen
I'm
that
reading
one. I've
that
heard it's pretty
one.
good.
Um, I've had a couple of other short reads that I've had. I read Green Lights, the Matthew McConaughey biography. That was pretty good too.
Hmm.
Really, really good. And then I'm reading I'm reading Kevin Garnett's book right now. It's different. It gives you a peek into like how he operates, and it can be a little dysfunctional, but like
That's got to be intense.
he's just different. Like you don't meet many guys like him. Really, really intense.
I might
Really
have to. I
intense.
loved watching KG play. That's one of my favorite Celtics.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you so in the times of even when you played video games, have you ever relied on these to help you escape from basketball when like you were going through a tough period or things weren't going well for you?
Oh yeah. Like of course. Like everybody has those moments. Um, the thing is like you have to realize like that's not gonna help your problem sometimes. Like
Hmm.
sometimes maybe getting in the gym or just sitting with your frustration to kind of get to the root of it, or watching film to like really hone in on your craft. Like that's really what's gonna help you. Like sitting there playing video games or just like trying to find ways to escape the reality of the situation you're in, like that's not always gonna help you kind of get over the tough times. Like that almost sometimes makes it worse.
Right, because you're not dealing with the issue at hand.
Yeah.
Um, so we can jump to some game time. Give you some fun questions. Coach gives you the weekend off. Are you a team going out? Or are you a team staying in?
It's tough. If I'm given a weekend off, I'm probably going out.
Mm, mm. So kind of go back to the business side. You have the chance to get a max contract but not be in a winning situation, or you can be on a veteran minimum and be a part of a dynasty from start to finish.
That's a tough one. That's tough. Ah, I want to be selfish, but I know that winning a championship leaves a legacy. So I think I'm going with the vet
The
minimum.
vet minimum,
Because
okay.
I mean, when you look at it, the vet minimum could be anything. It could be, I mean, it could be 10, it
Hmm.
depending on how long you've been playing, or it could be 1 to 2. It just depends on how long you've been playing, what you're worth.
Yeah,
So I mean, you still can make good money. I mean,
You
we're
can.
talking about millions of dollars. We're not acting like it's like 100,000.
Yeah.
It's like you're still making decent money.
Yeah. And part of the winning championship, you can probably
Literally.
get something off that stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to pick two versions of yourself to play one on one, who would win and how would they win?
If I'm
Two
going,
best versions of yourself.
I'm going college Cam. I'm gonna give it a year difference. So college Cam and first year overseas Cam.
So Germany.
Yeah, college Cam and professional Cam. I think professional Cam is probably winning by. If we're going to 10, he's probably winning by 7.
How's he gonna win? He's going on the outside, bullying him.
Oh yeah, he may not even take a dribble. Like he might just he might
Professional Cam's not taking a dribble.
he might not take it. He might take maybe two. He might take 2 dribbles every possession, max.
Wow.
It's crazy. I promise you, because like I didn't realize how like when I tell you I didn't realize how good I was. Um, I went from like I would say averaging like 10 to 11 in college. My last year there, I think like maybe my second or third game overseas, I had 30, and I finished the season shooting like 40, no 50, like somewhere around 50% from the field. And I was shooting like 40, 46, 47 from three, and I was like,
Wow.
I don't know if I was shooting a lot of free throws, but I was shooting like 80% from the free throw line.
So 50, 40, would you say 46%
Yeah,
from three? So 50, 45.
50, 45, 80.
Wow, that's a crazy split. In your first year overseas.
Yeah.
That's a crazy split. On that note, that is all I got for you today for the questions. Do you have anything to take us out of here?
Ooh. We going one
Quote, you
liners?
can
We going
go
one liners
hype,
quotes?
you can hype, whatever you got.
One thing that definitely rings true and has been definitely hitting me this year is that life happens fast. I'll tell you that right now.
Life happens fast. We out of here. Oh.